Welcome back everyone to our Making It Fun Career Mode series in NASCAR Heat 3. So here we're going to pick up where we left off. Of course, in our last video, we were able to bring home not only the race victory, but the championship in the Xfinity Series. So it's time for us to move up a rung, and we're going to be moving up to the Cup Series. Of course, we have nowhere near enough money to start our own team right now, so we're going to be doing the same thing we did when we first got to the Xfinity Series, and that is simulating an entire season. So we'll get started with that in today's video, but also what I want to see is just sort of how things go a little bit here in the Monster Energy Cup Series, just to see what kind of purses we can expect. I'm going to participate for right now in all three of the major NASCAR series. Again, we're skipping the Dirt Tour and probably starting with the following season, which I guess will be season 6. I will probably no longer run the Truck Series. But again, a whole lot of things for us to work our way through before we get to that point. But that's just kind of what I'm thinking. So we're going to participate in all three of these series. Okay, do we want to join someone else's team or start our own? Of course, we're going to say start our own team because I want to see the amount of money. So we need a little bit over $4.5 million to get started. And obviously, we don't have that amount of money. So that's going to be the goal for next season. Now, I must admit that that is an oddly specific amount of money. $4,501,000, 160. That is an odd number that it is so specific, but that's the amount of money we need. So we're going to have to see if we can't save up at least that amount during this season in simulating all three of the series. Okay, so he has prepared some potential contracts. Are you joking me right now? We can join Stewart-Haas. Now, this is what I would have expected, which is a 3-star team, but we're joining Stewart-Haas. Now, again, as tempting as it might be, I'm not going to run any of the actual races for multiple reasons, but the biggest thing is I want all of the races to be done in our own team as far as the races we're actually running. So let's go ahead and accept. I mean, look at the race payout difference. $46,200, which is great compared to what we've seen in the past. From the payouts we've gotten, but this Stewart-Haas, $107,750. I can only assume that this particular contract came because we won the championship. That's what I'll just have to assume. And if we hadn't won the championship, then we would only have this one. So let's go with Stewart-Haas because it gives us the most money. And who is the driver we're going to replace? Now, boy, doesn't that make you feel good? And I don't really care. Because, again, we're not going to be running this car. So we're going to go ahead and replace Kurt Busch. Okay, so we're going to join Stewart-Haas driving the 41 car. Yes. Let's go ahead and continue with that. Paint job is already designed, so that is excellent. And Xfinity, of course, we're going to race our own team. Okay, let's pick out a sponsor for the Xfinity team. Now, part of me really wants to branch out and do something different, but when I look at the money, it's just hard not to go with the Toyota option and go with Brandt. I mean, if you look at the per race payout, it's a little bit more with Hunt Brothers and Ford, but the signing bonus is, completely wipes that out. Also, a very nice signing bonus for Chevy, which is probably what I would prefer to go with, but we're going to have to go with the money here. We're going to follow the money for now. And then in the future, once we don't really need the money anymore, we've got our cars upgraded where we want them, then we can sign with whatever manufacturer we want to, and we won't worry about the money. All right, so as much as I wouldn't mind changing this, I'm going to leave this as is. It's not my favorite paint scheme, but we're going to leave it as is simply because we're not going to be running those races anyway. All right, so they wants us to go ahead and assign some workers to get going. And we've already started work on our Speedway chassis for Daytona. And again, eventually we're going to purchase a Super Speedway chassis, but right now is just not the time that we're interested in doing that. We'll come back later on, because for one thing, I want to chase after a truck championship as well. Oh, looks like we're already maxed out on the suspension. All right, so let's move on to our other Speedway chassis, since we'll have 2 Speedways in a row after Daytona. So let's go ahead and get these things going. And then we've got one guy left for suspension on our 3rd chassis. So we might as well get him to work on the short track car. And let's start that work plan. And there we go. 95, 90, and 90 in bay number 2. Okay. We're going to race on our own team in the truck series as well. And let's see what we get for the sponsorship. Wow. Okay, so no Toyota offer here. So we're dealing strictly with one of these two. I'm going to go ahead and just get the upfront money and be done with it without paying a whole lot of attention, just because that's kind of the manufacturer I would like to go with. Okay, here, so we're going to be running the Chevy this time. And again, we're not going to worry a whole lot about the paint scheme. Really hope that they give us a lot more options in the future with these paint schemes, particularly in career mode. I would love to be able to copy the design of, at very least, copy the designs that are available on some of the other cars in the game. Copy those designs and then play around with the color schemes and what have you. But there are some really nice looking cars in NASCAR in the 3 different series, and I would love nothing more than to be able to make use of some of those schemes. All right, I think that's everybody put to work, and we are ready to start our work plan. Got that taken care of. And let's make sure we got everything right. I sure hope it's right, because we've already prepared for races. See, we'll be racing the Monster Energy Series, Xfinity Series, Camping World Truck Series, and skipping the Dirt Tour. Okay. That sounds perfect.
Welcome to the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
I'm Ray Evernham. I'm originally from Hazlet, New Jersey. I'm retired from being a crew chief and car owner in NASCAR for many years. I'm still a racer. People think it takes bravery to be a driver, and you've got to be a little bit brave, but the best drivers I know are smart. Be committed. You're not going to do this without commitment. The Cup Series is the ultimate. It's the show. And when you get the Cup, it's on. The races are longer. The competition is harder. Everything you do is more critical than it ever was, because everybody at that level is already a champion.
You've made it to the top. Now, go show the world what you can do.
Congratulations on making it to the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. You know, I've spent a lot of my career making drivers into champions. This is a huge milestone for you, and I believe with my hard work and your talent, we can make you a champion.
All right, so his hard work and our talent. So his hard work would be giving us some money right now, because I don't think he's going to really do anything for us other than show up every once in a while in some video messages. All right, so our next race looks like we're going to get started with, I believe that's the truck race. I keep wanting to say that's the Xfinity Series at Daytona, but I am really excited to get this going. So let's go ahead and go next race, and we'll pick, I don't think it really matters a whole lot here what we choose. We're going to try to get the most money we can. That's the goal. Remember, 4.5 million is what we're after. So let's go ahead and choose, Well, that gives us our best opportunity. So we'll go ahead and choose that one. Come home 24th, 98 grand. That is not bad at all. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to, I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and reply to him this one time. But I'm thinking at some point I'm going to start skipping all of these and just simply exiting out. Now it's time for the Xfinity race. Same thing here. We're going to choose the easy option, as it's the only one I think we've got a realistic shot at actually obtaining, since we're simming these races. Okay, so once again, we'll go with the Speedway chassis, incur that penalty. Ooh, and finish 34th. Yikes. But we do get $247,000. But 34th, that hurts. 3,300 fans, though, that is pretty awesome. So we'll certainly take that. Let's see what we got as far as messages. Okay, Dylan Lupton doesn't like the way we drove Daytona. Oh, Morgan Shepherd. We got into Morgan Shepherd. That's no good. And Tyler Reddick, he looks a little confused by our actions at Daytona as well. And now it's time for the Monster Energy Cup Series. Now, I don't think... let's see. Actually, I have no idea what is going to be possible in here because we're driving for a 5-star team. I'm going to have to keep that in mind because I'm so used to and expecting a 3-star team is what we're going to have to start the series with. So we'll start out with the easy one because $55,000 is a lot of money. And look at that purse, $1.6 million. So let's simulate the race and just see what kind of simulated results we get. Finish, ooh, 11th. Okay, $1 million. We got $1,019,000 in that race. That is absolutely huge. And take a look at the number of fans we got. So again, we've talked about, as this series has gone along, how the Dirt Tour gave us a certain amount of money as payouts, and we gained a certain number of fans, which was usually very low single digits per race. Then we move up to the trucks, and that was better. Okay, we got more money than we did in the Dirt Series and more fans per race and so on. We move up to Xfinity, another big jump in the purse money as well as the sponsor money and, of course, the fans. But now we've made a huge jump in fans, money, everything by going up to the Cup Series. Now, the fact that we're in a 5-star team means that we can get some really good simulated finishes. So look at that, $2.2 million right there. All right, let's see. Hopefully we're not making too many people mad this year. All right, all aboard the Neil Pittler bandwagon. There you go. All right, so these guys... Oh, Alex Bowman, not happy. He is, ooh, look at that. He is well over onto the mad spectrum. Rolling his eyes at us, that is just not good at all. We're going to have to try to stay away from him. Apparently he doesn't like our bump drafting very much. All right, so now it's time for week 2 at Atlanta. And of course, the amount of money in these purses will change drastically once you get away from the opening race in Daytona. So let's go ahead and prepare for Atlanta, and we'll go ahead and simulate a few of these on camera, and then I'll do similar to what I did with the Xfinity. I'll come back to you guys in our next video. We'll come back toward the end of the season, and we'll get an update and check on see how much money we've made during the course of the year, as well as where we are in points, and do some discussion about the simulated results. All right, but for now, let's see. Let's go ahead and get everything up to its base level. It is very tempting to go ahead and max out our truck and Xfinity team with all this money that we're going to be getting this season, but I'm trying to keep in mind that that is not what we need to be doing with our money right now. We are trying to focus on the Cup Series and getting to actually running these races as soon as possible. All right, so work plan is done. Let's go ahead and back out, and we'll simulate this race. This time without the mismatch penalty. And 19th. Okay, so it's not terrible. It's not as good as we want to be, and eventually can be once we get fully upgraded. But we pick up a little bit of money, and 119 fans, and we will certainly take that. All right, let's just go ahead and skip out of that. We're not, if we made anybody mad, then I guess we'll just have to live with the consequences there. So let's go ahead and prepare for our Xfinity race. And see what we can do about getting our cars maxed out for it. Okay, after this, we're going to have another speedway in Vegas. So we're going to go ahead and work on it as well. Okay, that takes care of everybody. Start that work plan. And then simulate this race. Ooh, 28th. Ouch. That is no good. We did come away with $92,000, but ouch. 28th place is certainly not helping matters any at all. Again, that's just tempting me more and more to upgrade both our truck and Xfinity team so we can get some better simulated results. So tempting to do that. All right, he's put out some feelers to a few teams, and let's face it, if we can stay with Stewart-Haas, aside from the owning your own team thing, why would you want to go anywhere else? You'd only go somewhere else if you had to. All right, so let's go ahead and, again, look at that purse. A very nice size purse there in the Cup Series as opposed to what we're used to. Our finish here, okay, not quite as good. 22nd this time, $283,000. And once again, the amount of fans we're picking up at this point is just monstrous. So 194,000 fans. Wow. That is going to grow our fan base. And, of course, that's also going to grow our merchandise sales as well. So everything is going in our favor so far. We're 2 races into the season, and you can see we're already up over $2.6 million. So we need roughly $2 more million for the rest of the season, just at a minimum, to start our own team. So let's go ahead, and we're actually going to respond. Oh, look at that. We have got Kyle Busch very, very mad. So we cannot help but have him mad at us for now. One of the drawbacks of simulating these races is you get people like Kyle Busch that get extremely mad. So we must have really ran into him. All right, so that takes us into week number 3, and we're going to call it a video here for now. Again, when we come back next time, we'll be much farther along in the season, probably somewhere around the playoffs or maybe even later, just depending on how things are going. But I'll see you then. For now, thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our Career Mode series in NASCAR Heat 3.